All right, so Troy is speaking about a disconnect in messaging.
Yeah.
Is this something or nothing?
This is something. I lived through the same experience. Back in those days, it was, are you a Jerry Jones guy or are you a Bill Parcells guy? Right now, you're probably hearing the same schism between the messaging of what Jerry Jones is saying and Jason Garrett is saying. And it's really mixed messaging, and it makes the players have to serve two gods. Think about it. One is talking about the finished product every day. Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. And the coach is sitting there saying, we just got to place this next piece into this puzzle to create that opportunity for that Super Bowl. So one's being pragmatic, and one is just being hopeful. And it's unfortunate because you have to align yourself with both messages. Think about it. You can't look at Jerry Jones and say, you know what, I'm siding with you, so therefore, whatever Jason Garrett's talking about, I don't care about. How you going to get on the field? How you going to get put in the best situations? And then you can't do the opposite because Jerry Jones's name is on your check that you get every single week. And this, to me, has undermined the Dallas Cowboys ever since they've gotten rid of a Jimmy Johnson and that era of wanting credit along with accomplishment.
I've said this. I got into television 19 years ago. And I said it 19 years ago, and it's still true today. The Dallas Cowboys will never win anything with the current structure of their organization. They won't. I mean, you think about it. When your owner is upset about not getting the shine, and he needs the shine, when you've emasculated your coach in every way that you can emasculate your coach from an authority standpoint, the thing about coaching is you need to have two types of fear. One, fear, as in reverence and respect for the guy, and you're going to go out and play for him. Two, fear, as in I'm afraid of him because he'll cut my butt if I don't perform. You just heard it. At 1 minute, they're saying, Jason Garrett is saying, we're going to evaluate the kicker, and then right outside the locker room in a press conference, the owner says, no, we're not. The kicker's fine. Like, as a player, you look at that situation, and your coach gets hot and bothered and angry and yells at you. You know what you say as a player? Dude, you ain't got no authority here.
No juice.
The owner's got the authority. You've appointed Jason Garrett. You haven't empowered him. You appointed Bill Parcells. You didn't empower him. You appointed Dave Campo. You didn't empower him. You haven't empowered anybody since you didn't get enough shine when Jimmy Johnson was the head coach. And so you fired Jimmy Johnson. And therefore, your organization will never win squat until that changes.
Wow. Smoke Aikman and his brother, Smoke Schlereth. I think it's nothing. I think this is much to do about nothing because it has always been the Dallas way. If this had been something new that we hadn't heard of, just from Marcellus, back in those days when you were there, right, you're having the same conversations. So, and that's been a while. Like, not trying to age you or date you, but that's been a while. So why listen, Troy is just making light of things that he's seen as a player and has seen as an analyst. And much to your point, Mark, if this structure isn't adjusted or changed, the philosophy of it by the head guy himself and GM, you're going to continue to have much the same.
All right. So Jerry's personality is he likes to talk. He likes to be in the newspaper. He wants to be a heavily involved owner. I think there's a way it could work, him maintaining his personality without getting in the way of the head coach. And I think everything y'all have said is fair and accurate. But what I do think where Jerry's real mistake is that Jerry is in total control of the money. And that's what really motivates players. And when you're in an organization where it's like, oh, I can't get paid unless Bill Belichick is happy, Bill Belichick's authority reigns supreme. That's the problem. Jerry could run his mouth if Jason Garrett was the vehicle for people to get paid. I don't have a problem with Jerry picking the players and being the general manager. But the mindset in Dallas is, man, Zeke and Jerry hit it off. They BFF. Jerry took care of Zeke. Jerry and Tony Romo, that was like his godson. They went to go watch Jerry's grandson play quarterback. The way to get paid in Dallas is to be BFF with Jerry. That, to me, is the problem. If the coach had more say-so and if the general manager's role was split up a little bit different, like, okay, Jerry, you can help us pick the players and construct the roster, but in terms of how we pay guys, we, the football people, determine that, then I think the coach would have more authority. Jerry could have his personality and run his mouth, but if the players knew the way for me to get paid and rewarded in this system is through the head coach, then you got a shot.
That's true to a point, and I'll point out two cases in particular. Emmitt Smith, obviously, but more importantly, Dez Bryant, who when you can see Jerry has that relationship with, but it still doesn't end well, brother, because Jerry does hold the money, but what he holds that's even more empowering than the money to a player is the ability to undermine the coach when the coach flexes for you. Think about it. When I've been there, when Bill Parcells is like, I'm flexing for A player, B player, you can only go so far, and then Jerry can now cut your legs from under you. And then when he comes back into this locker room, we looking at him like, it's not even that you could get me paid. It's the fact that you can't tell me what to do because you're going to get told what to do. We at least have to work under the imagery that our coach is the end all, be all, because he's the ones instructing us to go out there. It's like in parenting. I don't care what your disciplines are as a mother and father. They have to be in unison. Because if you have split disciplines, you got to rewire that kid. He's not going to know which way is up. And I think that's how that locker room feels.
I think it's kind of the same. You guys are kind of making the same point because you still have to follow the money because that undercutting of the legs comes from him controlling the money to the coach. So and then when you talk about parenting, the first thing you realize in that being evenly yoked situation of parenting, you guys got to be on the same page in terms of, I don't think I'm better than you. You don't think you're better than me. So the messaging and the branding that we're giving to our children is a total snapshot of what we represent as a team.
In sync.
You do not have that in Dallas. You have, as the rappers would say, and I'm getting old, there's levels to this thing, right? That's so. Yeah. And that's the reality of it.
Listen, all I know is if your coach is saying, hey, we're going to evaluate a player, and your owner says, no, we're not, you got problems.
Case closed.
You got problems. And regardless of who has the money, the bottom line is your coach has no authority. And I will tell you this, being in a locker room for a long time, you guys know this. If you know your coach, it's like a substitute teacher. You didn't act right when a substitute teacher came in.
No work got done.
Nobody did.
No.
So
they better put
you have essentially assigned Jason Garrett as a substitute teacher of your football team because you've undermined his authority. And the bottom line is everybody in that locker room knows it. Every guy.
And it's story time. Like, I got two quick examples. When Bill Parcells got into a fight with Antonio Bryant, and we were right there, and we saw hands get thrown, in that moment, we were like, Antonio's gone. But Bill Parcells didn't get his way. That had to wait 8-9 weeks in the middle of the night on a Wednesday when Jerry finally gave into what we all saw. We was like, you could punch Coach now, basically, for 8-9 weeks? Okay. And then
Coach going to have some knots on his head the rest of the way.
Look, it's a record that I had a disappointing, sorry year in Dallas, but I was protected. They told me I was good. But I got so frustrated, my ego got out of control, I went at Jerry. Because I was like, Jerry, you allowed this. You told me one thing and let Parcells do another thing. When I was going at Parcells, it was fine. Parcells was like, hey, man, I got a boss too. But when I went at the boss, that's when all things crumbled. So the point of this is Jerry needs to empower that guy who's going to talk to the 53, not just himself.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. And be sure to check out more of the best clips from Speak For Yourself or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.